So the iPhone SE 3rd generation is one of those iPhones that just came out not too long ago, about 2 years ago. So let's go and see how this iPhone is holding up in the later part of 2023. Now, the first thing to remember, this is easily one of the worst deals I've seen from most iPhones that Apple has ever made. I think it was barely even worth it when it first came out, but quickly it's became one of the weirder deals Apple's made. And the fact that this iPhone has been out for almost 2 years, we're now in like our second or third iPhones that have been released since then, and these have not seen any price decreases. It's a pretty big turnoff, and I really would not recommend buying this iPhone anymore. For $430, you can buy like an iPhone 12 in the used market, maybe even an iPhone 13 mini in the used market, and that'd be a much better deal than this thing. The body though, pretty much the same thing as before. Not much has changed, it's pretty much the same exact body, 4.7-inch IPS panel, 750p, you're getting a lot of bezel on the top and bottom. It's definitely not an iPhone that I would look at and be like, oh, please buy this iPhone, the way it looks is perfect. Not the case, already outdated. Just avoid this iPhone because of the body. Lightning port at the bottom, glass on the back, standard camera, like it's a very, very outdated body when it comes down to it. And I would hate for somebody to go ahead and buy this phone thinking that the body of this thing is, still fine. It's usable, it's okay. But I just would not recommend, using this iPhone or buying it. When you're looking forward, of the future of a specific device that you buy, you want it to have some sort of future. In this phone, if you're buying it, you're really not future-proofing yourself. So keep that in mind. Now, beyond that, the software updates of this thing has been kind of interesting. We did end up getting iOS 17 on this iPhone, and there's really only like 2 iPhones that are currently supported with iOS 17 that have home buttons, the iPhone SE 2 and the iPhone SE 3. Beyond that, this one is, still a good iPhone from the software standpoint. It did get almost all the features within iOS 17, which is really nice. And the fact that this thing has basically the same chipset as the iPhone, 13, iPhone 14, it does kind of future-proof this iPhone a little bit from that perspective. But once again, when you are getting something like an iPhone SE 3, you are getting an iPhone that is already a little bit outdated from the body standpoint. And if any new iPhone features come out, keep in mind that on iOS 18, if Apple does something crazy and they bring some new features, I could see them kind of reducing the amount of features on iOS 18, because you are actually pretty much getting, like an outdated body. And maybe they'll be like, oh, you have to have this type of iPhone to have, this type of feature set, like an iPhone with gesture-based design instead. So keep that in mind. Another thing, the camera of this thing really isn't that great either. It's a very outdated camera, 4K at 60 on the back, 1080p on the front. It's not that bad of a camera setup, but it is already a little outdated like I mentioned before, and that could be a really big turnoff for some people too. You don't want to go ahead and buy an iPhone, already have it outdated from the camera standpoint, and that is entirely exactly what's going on with this particular phone. Now, I was able to, compare this phone against the iPhone 15 that just came out, and even then I did see that the iPhone 15 is so much of a better phone than the SE3 as it should be, but honestly the SE3 really isn't even that bad in terms of performance, and if there's anything I can give this iPhone in terms of credit, it's probably, when it comes down to the actual performance of this iPhone. It is actually much better than you'd think, and I do think that's actually a really good thing going on for this particular device. So, without having to harp on it for way too long, I definitely do think this type of device is not worth buying anymore, especially when you consider what you can buy for this type of value. Phones like the iPhone 12 and 13 mini, even an iPhone 13 you can probably buy in the used market in certain conditions. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.